3 power rings. If you're not familiar with the comic books, Green Lantern Blackest Night introduced the concept. Well, Jeff Johns introduced this concept before. He planted the seeds for the concept. Because Green Lantern, if you're not familiar with Green Lantern, his whole thing is that he has a power ring that allows him to construct anything that his imagination can think of. Whether it be Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, John Stewart, or Guy Gagner. You know, as long as he had the willpower, he can construct all of these crazy things, and just, you know, he became a superhero that way, and he was like the space police, him and the Green Lantern Corps. But the only other color that was even part of it was Sinestro, with the yellow powering. But it was just a thing, and also Star Sapphire, but it wasn't a part of a concept. They could also create constructs, but it was a kind of different thing. But eventually, when Jeff Johns tried to bring back Green Lantern from the obscurity that he was, because at a point, Hal Jordan became the Spectre. He got fused with the Spectre. But anyway, he introduced the concept of the emotional spectrum, where every emotion was linked to a cosmic being that represented the emotion of the spectrum. Hal Jordan's green was willpower. Then the Star Sapphires was love. And then the Red Lanterns was rage. So, but one of Hal Jordan's oldest villains was Sinestro. Sinestro, he was a Green Lantern originally, but got corrupted, and he went to the antimatter universe and created yellow powering, because back in the day, the Green Lanterns had a weakness to yellow. So the best way to fight a Green Lantern that has a weakness for yellow is to craft a ring that allows you to create yellow constructs. So the Green Lantern has no way to fight you. But eventually, Sinestro developed a yellow powering, which was the representation of fear. And that's how that came about. So I need the yellow lantern, but I need to talk about fear. There's a lot of things I fear, and they've evolved just like I've evolved. One of the earliest fears I remember is that my parents had a house before the one that they live in right now, and it was a one-story, because it was only my mom, my dad, me, and my brother, so we're only 4 people. So my dad and my mom had a one-story house, just with 2 bedrooms and a living room and a kitchen. But I remember the kitchen the most of all. The kitchen scared the shit out of me, because it was like dead dark, you know. Not even the pilot lights in the stove would turn on. It was just dead, like a black hole of darkness. And one of my earliest fears was walking through that pitch black kitchen, because I would always dream about this lady in black that would come to get me. And that stuck in my head really, really badly, because every time I would walk past that pitch black kitchen, I would imagine this lady in black, you know, coming over. As I've gotten older and I've seen, because I watched more horror movies that I should have at a younger age. But I remember a movie called El Santo contra las Mujeres Vampiro. And in that one, they had all these vampire women in black. So I deduced that that's where I got my fear of the lady in black from the kitchen. And, you know, I had the typical dream that I would walk through there and that the lady in black would grab me and drag me through the kitchen. And I would scream, and my parents wouldn't listen to me. So I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. But that was my earliest fear. That's the thing that really stuck for many, many years, until we moved out of the house. And the new kitchen that we got had windows. So at least the moonlight would peer into the kitchen. And the stove was different, so you could see the pilot lights. So I wouldn't get as scared. The next thing that really scared the shit out of me was Return of the Living Dead, and I was warned about that one. One of my uncles, one of my uncles was visiting us, and he rented Return of the Living Dead, and I begged him to let me see it because I like horror movies. Ever since I was young, I really liked horror movies, even though before if something was really messed up, it would kind of leave an imprint. But I was always of the idea that, if something scares you, figure out a way to beat the fear. If there's werewolves, figure out how to kill werewolves. Or vampires, figure out how to kill werewolves. Ghosts, salt and the Bible and stuff like that help out. So I developed this technique when if something scared me, I would just think of ways to defeat it, and that would take away the fear. But Return of the Living Dead scared me because, I was already introduced to zombies, and I was under, the idea that if you destroy the brain, the zombie dies. But with Return of the Living Dead, if you, shot a zombie in the brain, the thing would still keep moving, and if you chop off the head would still keep moving, and the body would still come after you, and that scared the shit out of me because you couldn't kill the damn things. You can kill the zombies, and the idea of something that can't be killed, something that's coming after you and you can't kill it, left me traumatized. I mean, I love the Thriller video for Michael Jackson. I love that, but the minute that the zombies would come out of their graves, instantly reminded me of Return of the Living Dead, so it, would freak me out. Eventually, in the second part, they kill the zombies with electricity. They electrocute the zombies, and that's how you kill them. So that kind of took over that fear. And the other fear that lasted a good while was the fear of dying alone. I was genuinely... It's something that I was afraid of, and then eventually accepted, of dying alone, that I would never meet someone and be forever alone. But now I have my wife and I have my kids, and that has been replaced by a new fear, a fear of dying. Most people, have religion to fall back on. They believe in an eternal reward. They believe in life after death, and if you're good, you'll go to heaven, and if you're bad, if you're kind of bad but not totally bad, you'll go to purgatory, and if you were just a god-awful person, you'll go to hell. I'm not a religious kind of guy. Like I said, I believe in the big guy upstairs, whatever name you want to give him. But I have a problem. I have personal issues with religion. I don't disrespect anyone's religion. I have friends that are Catholic. I have friends that are Christian. I know people that are Jewish. I know people that don't believe in any religion or even a god. Atheists. I know people that believe in science and don't, they rationalize anything. I know people that believe in both. So I don't, get offended when people, talk to me about their religion. And I know a lot of people that are 100% faithful to religion, and it's okay. I have no problem with that. It's just not I personally believe, but so I don't know what lies beyond the veil, even though that in our Mexican culture we accept death, we celebrate it in Day of the Dead. We believe that on that day our relatives will visit the world of the living. That's why we put a friend us. And because it's the day that you can communicate. And I've always been attracted. Maybe it's because I was born in Halloween. Maybe it's because I, always liked the dark nature of stuff. As much as I like the light nature of stuff. But that kind of thing has always interested me. I've always been curious what lies beyond the veil. But at the same time, I'm kind of scared to actually see a ghost. If I see a ghost, I would lose my shit. But I don't know 100% what lies, when after someone dies, and I've never had any sort of paranormal stuff, and it's actually something that I complain about, that this mortal world that we live in is kind of boring. There's no nothing conclusive about ghosts or aliens or what have you. So I don't have that to fall back on. And my biggest fear is dying right now, because if I die, I'll miss out on seeing my daughter grow up. If I die, I won't see my son grow up. And also that's added to this crippling fear. Sometimes it's better than worse, but this crippling fear of something happening to my family. If something happens to my family, I'll lose my shit. I know me. I know how I'll react, and losing, because I lost my grandma a couple of weeks ago, and I have two grandmas, and I pass time with both of them. I love both of them, but I pass more time with my grandma. That's the mother of my mother, so my maternal grandma, and my mom's a mess and everything. But I can't even imagine what my mom's going through, and when I think of that happening and losing my parents or my daughter or my son or my wife, it really is kind of hard to assimilate, and it scares me. It genuinely scares me to think of something happening to them, especially everything that is the world we live in. All I do is just wake up and thank the big guy, and when I go to sleep, ask him and plead with him to please protect my family and me. But that is a fear. That is the one fear that I have that I can't shake, because death is not something that you can plan for. Death is not something that you can figure out how to stop. Death, like in the Final Destination movies, death comes, and when it's your time, and there's nothing that you could do to stop it. And that is something that I fear, and I fear quite often recently. But yeah, you have to overcome your fear. You can't be afraid of what might happen, because you're going to miss out on what is happening. That's something that I don't always put into action. I try. Sometimes it's better than others, but you have to overcome your fear, or else it will control you. And I rather enjoy each day that I have with my family and not be afraid of what might happen. And that's something that's helped me out. And we have the yellow ring, the Sinestro Corpse ring. Yes, the Sinestro Corpse ring. Fear. I'll put that here, because fear. Actually, I'll put the positives on this side. Yeah. Fear, rage, love, willpower. 4 down. Got a couple more to get. These videos are turning out to be my own personal therapy. They're helping me get all this stuff out and making me a stronger person. So that'll work out very well in my plan to get out of Limbo. Macabro has actually helped me come to terms with certain stuff and share it with everyone out there, if these videos are even uploaded properly. So yeah, got a couple more rings to get, but we'll see how that works out.